Boy Green meets Wudi. We continue rebuilding the New York Jets offensive line here as we do every Tuesday and Thursday at 3 o'clock. On Tuesday, we did the tackles. Now it's time for the guards for the New York Jets. Assess where the hell they're at. What more could be added? Let's roll. But it is unequivocally the Super Bowl for New York Jet fans.
Field Yates, baby. Field gosh darn Yates. Let's bring him on the show. Come on, people. Connor Rogers is joining the show. What's up, Connor? But Trevor gosh darn Sycamore, baby, for me, personally, my favorite New York Jet of all time.
Wow, it's great to be on. What an intro that was right there.
Paul, nobody does an intro like you, man.
Paul, you give the best intro of literally any podcast that I've ever been.
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas.
God bless everybody. What's popping again? This is a quarter zip weather. Look at this. Get the little Jets action. It's hard to see with the bulky beard action going in there, but yeah, I got a bunch of Jets quarter zips I've never taken out of the package. Now's a better time than any, so let's get right to it. It is Boy Green meets Wudi, and each week heading into free agency, we're assessing a position on the Jets roster, telling you what they got, what they could be losing. Plus, we'll look around the veteran free agent market to see who they could potentially add to the room throughout this process. Without further ado, let's bring in my partner of choice, James Wudi, here on the show.
I have been chosen, the chosen one, James Wudi. This is exciting. It's exciting stuff because we all agree. It has been proven in the numbers. We all agree the offensive line. All right. This is the foundation that we are talking about. Tackle was a big one. It was a big one. Technically a big two, because we're talking about left, right. And now we're talking about guards. And there's two of those too. Left, right. All right. So let's get it cracking.
Well, I'll just say this. Yes, you were chosen to be my co-host on this show. Thankfully, that voting process wasn't by the people, because if it was, someone else probably would have been selected for this. So let's get into it. We start off every show by recapping the poll results, because as I mentioned at the end of the show, we pick what the Jets should do at a particular position. Today is guard. On Tuesday was offensive tackle. And then we let the grand people out in the Twitter universe vote on the poll results. And in this particular case, we'll also do this for guard, Wudi, where we kind of give our projections for starters at left tackle, right tackle, and who the quote-unquote sixth man is. So we did that for tackle. We'll do that as well for guard here. But let's bring that up here on the old Polsky. And let me make sure I got this right. Oh, well, I got too many damn tabs. Okay, let me scroll down. Oh, boy, this is a whole shish kebab. Ah, geez. Okay, here it is. All right, that looks better. All right, so here it is. Here is our poll. Let's get right into it. As X is loading up here, perhaps, eventually. It's like a big, do I need a drum roll sound effect? What do I need for this? Okay, wait, here we go.
Oh, my tongue, I can't.
Yeah, okay. Okay, it is coming up here. Buffer. There we go. Spoiler alert. I won again, you bastards. Which, by the way, for those counting at home, Tuesday was our 5th episode of this positional breakdown anyway. And I have now 4 wins. Wudi has 1. So more and more, it's looking like that 1 win was a fluke, Wudi. That's basically what I'm saying, where you won the tight end position. But people preferred my 3 of Olu Fashanu, Mike Nwenu, and David Bakhtiari to your Elijah Virtuka, Fuaga, and Illuminati at the offensive tackle spots. But we were both clowned, I will say, for that. Like, I won the poll, obviously, because I'm the handsomest, greatest of all time. Like, there's no surprise there. But both of us were clowned because they thought some of this was unrealistic in terms of Illuminati apparently being, a starting caliber player, and the same for Bakhtiari. But that is what the grand people said.
Yeah. Definitely. Yours did look a little fake. A lot of money in yours. I will say, Onwenu, is he a guard? Is he a tackle? Yours is It is what it is. I still, and I will maintain what I said at the end of last week, or not last week, sorry, on Tuesday, that regardless of which one of those we choose, it is better than what Joe Douglas has
That's
done.
true. It's an upgrade. Correct.
For
Yes.
quite some time. So I still maintain that. I still believe Elijah Vera Tucker should be Elijah Vera tackle. I know that was a huge, on top of, questioning the validity of that. Most people went at that, please stop putting him at tackle. Please stop putting him at this. But he is proven, Olu Fashanu, this is not a personal attack whatsoever, but there was a tackle not too long ago that was widely regarded the best tackle. That person's name is Evan Neal. The Giants, so-called, got a steal. And Evan Neal, the top-rated tackle of the class. Woo! They're good to go. And now we're less than 2 years out, and we're talking about, should they get a new tackle? Things aren't guaranteed. A lot of things aren't guaranteed, but we have all seen with our eyes that Elijah Vera Tucker can play that position. So I just like stability. That's all it is, boy. I like stability with ADT.
Yeah, I like stability and consistency, and consistently I've been kicking your ass in these polls, but that's neither here nor there. But anywho, we'll get into that conversation later. Let's assess where the Jets are at on their roster as it pertains to the guard position. And there's not a lot of movement, I'm going to be honest. Like tackle, they're losing both of their starting tackles, or scheduled to. I guess technically they could resign either before the open market hits. But from the guard position, it's not nearly as volatile. Laken is scheduled to be back. Elijah Vera Tucker is under contract. And Wes Schweitzer, a guy I don't think we talk about a lot. He's had a lot of versatility, whether he's been required to play center or any of the guard spots, has a little flexibility there. He's also under contract for another year. He got injured and banged up a couple of times, but when he was on the field, not too shabby. I don't think I see him in any world as a starter, but he's a solid reserve guy for reasonable rate. So he's there as well. So it looks like the only one they're losing in any major sense is Xavier Newman, who is kind of playing all over the place, and they could easily bring him back. So that's really the only loss, quote unquote. Besides that, the Jets are pretty set from that position. So a very easy assessment this time around. I know, on some of the other positions, we've gone a little bit more in depth there, but this one's actually pretty simple. There is not much lost from an interior offensive line standpoint.
There could be if they want to save you $4 million and
Let's talk about that real quick. So since we don't have a lot to talk about with the assessment of the position, let's talk about this because I think it's going to lead to our stuff later. Because you're talking about Laken, right?
I am.
Okay. Okay. So here it is. By the way, I love Laken. By the way, he's set to be on the show again very soon. So we're going to have him back on the show for a big time interview. Looking forward to that with Laken in a couple of weeks. So maybe you should turn off this part of the exam if we're leaning towards where Wudi is going to say here. Here's the thing. The Jets can save about $8.1 million if they cut Laken straight up. They'd also eat $10 million in dead cap. So you kind of have to weigh that out with that decision. Here's where I stand. If I'm the Jets, I'm keeping Laken Tomlinson. I don't think, obviously, he's lived up to his contract. I think that's pretty obvious with his $40 million. But with the volatility of the Jets' offensive line, your best ability is availability. And Laken has been an Ironman for the Jets. He's appeared in 34 games since coming here. He hasn't missed a game dating back to when he was traded from the Lions to the 49ers. He missed week 1, but he was traded late August, early September, or else he would have kept that streak going even more. But he has been on an NFL Ironman streak that I'm pretty sure just went over 100 starts at the back end of the season. So congratulations, Laken, on that one. And I think he will play better with better talent around him. Plus, if you move on from Laken, this is just my spiel here, and then Wudi, I'm sure, will try to slap me around, is that if you move on from Laken, that's another hole you have to fill on top of all the other holes. Minimum, it's both tackles, obviously, left and right. That's a minimum of what you need. And if you moved on from Laken, there'd be 3. And then there's still the wide receiver. There's the backup quarterback, or what some of us have mentioned, tight end or running back, or some of these other things, plus all the defensive stuff. So I just think that there's a limited amount of things you could do in a single offseason, and you have a limited amount of money to do it. I think the Jets would be better served rocking with Laken and just eating this year, riding it out with it. He's got 1 year left on his deal. That's this upcoming year. Ride it out. Maybe ask him for a pay cut. Maybe that's where I'd go personally. Go say, hey, you know what? again, you have like an 18 million charge. You cut him, you lose 10 million ish in dead cap. If you cut him, you save 8. Maybe split the difference. Say, hey, you know what? Cut 4 million off. We're 14 million here, 14 million here. It's still a great salary for you. We save a little bit of money, and that's how it works out. That's probably where I would go personally for the Laken thing. Is sure maybe a pay cut, but I'm bringing him back, and he's going to be my starting left guard next season. What's your take on Laken?
Well, I guess this is a message to all the boys and girls is to not look at these numbers at 3 a.m. because I had my numbers mixed up for some reason.
I heard you say that. 4 million. Yeah. It's 8 million savings. Yes.
So, yes, exactly. So, knowing that it's 8, that it has literally doubled the savings that I was expecting.
Jesus.
It's time to cut 8 mil.
Props.
8 mil.
Props.
Wow. Oh my gosh. You can definitely replace the lack of production with 8 mil. With 4 mil, and like you said, there's a lot of things. The best ability is availability. You know, he's been there. And I will also wholeheartedly agree that his best games as a Jet were with a healthy Dwayne Brown on that left side. If you look at the Dolphins game last year, the first Dolphins game, they had six rushing touchdowns with that healthy Dwayne and Laken. They were the left side was looking crazy. But the left tackles that have been since an injured Dwayne Brown and Mekhi and Laken, I feel that's what he can be carried by that left tackle. He cannot carry a left tackle. So with the uncertainty, right? Because it doesn't seem like I am going to get my way of moving Elijah Vera Tucker to the left tackle. If he does,
I don't know if that's true. I don't know. I think the fans are against you. They hate you. They hated you anyway, but you made them hate you extra with your ABT to tackle thing. I think on the ABT thing, we will know when the Jets make their decisions. Personally, I think the Jets are going to try, like in any free agency. Hey, we got a free agency big board. It's more than this, but we have 10 guys we're going after. We're going after this guard, this tackle, this guard, this tackle, whatever. And then, like, once things happen, one team says, nah, a player goes, I don't want to play for the Jets. I don't want it. I do, blah, 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 blah. And then the pieces get shuffled around. Then you head into the draft. And then whatever happens with the draft happens. Then they're like, okay, everything's settled. We're still kind of questionable tackle. We're still kind of questionable guard. Like, that's where I think they go, okay, ABT guard, ABT tackle. Because normally what happened last year, I don't know the exact date this year. I should know as a Jets content creator. But last year, the first day of the Jets, like, hey, we're back after the offseason was like April 18th. And that's setting up for your OTAs in May. That's when the players report back and they start doing meetings and stuff. So it was like 10-ish days before the draft, basically. So, like, what are we talking about to figure out whether you're playing guard or tackle from April 18th to like April 28th, whatever the difference is. So I'm sure ABT would prefer knowing on February 1st what he's playing so he can practice and train the way that is. But I think that's when we truly find out. So I don't know if we know the answer to tackle guard. Maybe the Jets do. Maybe they already know the answer and they've already told ABT and they're going to operate this offseason as if he's playing insert position, but I'm not sure.
Based on what we've seen from the coaching staff, I will not assume anything.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah.
But that's the thing. If there was a question mark going to left tackle, I really think I would take the chance on finding a better replacement for $8 million. $8 million is a lot of money. When you look at the rest of the there's no other tackle. There's no other lineman on the Jets making that type of money. I think you can really find somebody for $8 million. So that is where I'm going to go. When it was $4 million, I mean, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but I literally did write his name down as the left guard. So we are pivoting live on Board Green Wudi.
Okay, wow.
We are pivoting. You already saw me bring out the. Don't make me do it again. All right, fine. We'll do it one more time. I
like hearing the sound too. That's a great prop. We do not have this available. This show is an audio only podcast. So if you want to see Woody, all you could do is watch the show. We do not have this available in the audio form. Maybe we'll do that in the future, but we do not have an audio version of this available.
Yes, it's all good. Just watch the video. And yeah, I would say cut.
So you say cut Laken. Okay.
Yes. I would definitely cut And like no hard feelings. Like you said, there are definitely pros to keeping him. The availability, he can perform well with a good left tackle, but just raising the floor. Somebody who can, if that left tackle goes down, and the swing tackle is Carter Warren, I probably want some more stability
That's
at
fair.
that left guard, which can be found for $8 million for sure.
And I'm glad to have these healthy conversations about it. Let's throw this up on the screen again. We are evaluating the top available guard options that are available in 2024. Again, this list is in no particular order. I pair it with the players that are available from Spot Track, so we can kind of sort them out by guard. Also, PFF, and I'll start doing this for every position. They actually have their own rankings of the free agents that are set to come. So I mix those together to kind of come up with the list of players that you see, like Kevin Dotson, Robert Hunt, Kevin Zeitler. I squeezed in Dan Feeney here and Greg Van Roten, and I tried to squeeze in a couple there as well. Ezra Cleveland and a couple other ones. So yeah, there's a variety of options, and I'm just going to be blunt. I'm going to come out and say it before we get to our pitch portion of the exam. As I stand here and as we'll do in our poll, my starting guards are Laken, Tomlinson, and AVT. I want to keep AVT at the position that he was in. We did a longer form video. This is one of our Boy Green Daily morning episodes this week. I don't know if there's a correlation. I'm not a doctor, but AVT season-ending injuries, both of them came at right tackle. The torn triceps and the torn Achilles, and also in Denver. They played Denver at home this year, so I'm just, again, advocating that he just doesn't play. If we can just put someone else in there, I'm willing to sacrifice the one game, hopefully, in return for the full season, or sacrifice a small goat. I'm not sure what is required potentially to put that together. But my guards, if it's up to me, will be Laken left, ABT right, and then I will dive in the pool. It's actually not even a name in this list that I'm going after because I want to try to make it as realistic as possible. I know a lot of people criticized our list last time, is that I want to get a high-level guard backup, though, that in a pinch can step in because, unfortunately, with all the injuries the Jets have had, you have to have another guy. I like Wes Schweitzer, have him in the room too. The more depth, the better. So I have another name that's not included on this list that I would be going after. But my starting guards, as far as I'm concerned, will be Laken, Tomlinson, and AVT. Let's keep AVT at guard. The Jets even admitted it themselves. They believe he has, quote-unquote, all-pro potential at guard, and they then disappeared those labels and said, well, he could also be a really good tackle. And I get it. Tackles are more valuable than guards. But in my projections, as we already had them, I had Olu Fashanu no. It wasn't Fashanu. I don't know. I had the poll up earlier. I already deleted it. But
you said Fashanu and Onwenu.
Yes, that's right. Thank you. Yeah. So long story short, a different left tackle, right tackle, which means AVT in theory would not have to bounce out to tackle. So I'd prefer him at guard. All the fans do as well. So I'm a man of the people.
65% of the Twitter answers, yes.
That's right. So obviously that sways my opinion. So long story short, I'm rocking. I will, when we make our pitch here in a second, I will be signing a backup guard or a guard that has starter experience, but I will give the pitch on why I believe the Jets can get him for dirt cheap and would be a very nice move. So is there a name on this list? I haven't asked you, Wudi, off air, so I'm learning this live. Is there a name on this list that is the one or ones that you would like to chase?
Yes, there is one that I do have written. I have him written in pen, if you will, for my right guard, because as everybody knows, I am team Elijah Vera tackle. I think he can succeed anywhere. So why not put him at the most premium position that we keep failing? They keep failing at trying to fill the position. So get somebody who can play. They've already played games there and succeeded. So just put him there for good. Just don't let him play in Mile High. When the Broncos come to MetLife, put that boy in the game. Just don't let maybe it's the thin air. The thin air.
It could be, obviously. Yeah, that could be.
Yeah, definitely. If it's MetLife, let him play. But I think with Laken, I think it's been kind of proven what we said about, he performs his best, with the talent around him.
I agree. Yes.
And I think this guy is somebody who is what they thought they were getting when they, got Laken. He was coming off, Pro Bowl alternate type, he got that Pro Bowl. but I mean,
We don't have to throw around the alternate word. It doesn't say when you have a Pro Bowl nomination. It just says Pro Bowl. When I'm the Employee of the Month, it didn't say, well, he was our third choice. The first two guys were sick. It just says Employee of the Month. So come on,
right.
you don't have to
But
say
it,
alternate. You could just say he was a Pro Bowler. He was a
It
Pro
is what
Bowler.
it is.
Yeah,
Not all Pro Bowlers were created equal. That is a fact, Boy Green.
I
There are
refuse to
Tyler Huntley's
acknowledge
out
that.
there.
I refuse to
Baker
acknowledge that.
Mayfields are out there. All right.
Hey,
Baker
Jermaine Johnson's a Pro Bowler, sir. Watch your mouth. Watch
Who?
your mouth, sir. Jermaine Johnson. He's a
Oh,
Pro Bowl alternate.
I literally thought you said Dwayne Johnson. That's why I
No,
was
yeah.
stopping my tracks.
If you smell, no. Yeah,
But
Jermaine.
yeah, I mean
Go ahead.
Jermaine's an alternate too. You know, everything that he said when he did not get voted about how, you know, this year they're gonna see he can't be ignored. I hope he doesn't lose any of that edge. I was kind of upset when they voted him in as alternate, like like I hope now he's not like, oh, I'm vindicated now. I don't have to try. Like, no, like you were an alternate. You are not the same as Quinnen or Sauce.
All right.
It's not
All
the
right.
same.
So who are your two guards? Are you signing two? Is that your plan?
I'm signing one. Robert Hunt is the guy, 27
Former
years
Dolphin. Okay.
old. Yeah, you know, and I love that. I love that stealing from them.
Yeah.
You know, I hate the Dolphins. They're my least favorite of the AFC East rivals.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Patriots are my worst. Just to let you know. Like,
well, you went after Onwenu.
well, you see, so you saw my double dip of exactly what I'm doing. It seems like, and wait, Woody, we determined we're the same age, right? Is that what we figured out before? Okay, so, but normally though, so this is unique, I guess, but normally the Jet fans I've experienced that hate the Dolphins are older fans. So it dates back to, you know, the 80s, 90s of Marino, O'Brien, and things of that nature. That normally breeds it. And then the younger, you know, I'm getting up there. I got a lot of silvers in this beard, but the in between that is normally Patriots because of the Tom Brady stuff. For me, I hate the New England Patriots. Like, I almost hate the Patriots more than I love the Jets. The Dolphins, like, I don't like them. If I see someone, you know, coming down the same hallway as me, I'll probably try to trip them. But, like, you know, I don't have the same, like, I want to shove him down the stairs. You know what I'm talking about? So, like, I don't have that same hate. So why do you, let me just get that random detour. And why do you hate the Dolphins?
I mean, definitely I'm an old soul. So I
see.
Know,
okay.
Yeah, that's definitely a lot of it. But I also feel like even if we talk about the most recent, you know, if we just talk about the last, you know, 13 years or so, I feel like it's been the Dolphins that have kind of been the bottom of the basement. How dare they? How dare they start elevating, you know, before we can get our feet under us, you know, take Tyreek Hill from the
that's a good point too.
You know, like I absolutely despise them. I mean, and Robert Saleh, when he left San Francisco and joined the Jets, right? Kyle Shanahan actually had two offensive coordinators. He had two. He had a passing game coordinator and a run game coordinator, right? Saleh chose the pass game coordinator, Mike LaFleur. He could have chosen the run game coordinator, Mike McDaniel.
And by the way, real quick on Robert Hunt, like, he's expected to get some money. Calculated market value from SpotTrack is 11.8 per year. He's projected to sign a 4-year, $47 million deal. Now, Laken was more because it was a 3-year, $40 million deal. So you'd be getting a little bit better of a value on Robert Hunt as opposed to Laken. But just to explain to people what kind of money we seem to be talking about here, according to SpotTrack.
Yes, and that's exactly why I tried to make the comparison to Laken, because Joe Douglas knows that you need to build an offense from the trenches. He has failed miserably at it, but he's tried. And Laken was a very good try. He felt, that's what I'm saying. He felt like it was a you know, Pro Bowl guy who, you know, was in his
system, 20s, you know,
fits the system and all that. Robert Hunt, I am saying, is probably a better fit. He's a better version. He's 27. Okay, I know he doesn't have that Pro Bowl alternate. You know, he hasn't been there, but this is his chance. So you make an investment like that, all right? And the classic Joe Douglas, you don't have to give him 4-year, 44. Give him the classic 3-year. Well, he actually didn't even do that with Laken because this is his 3rd year, and he can't cut him, right? This isn't like Carl Lawson where, 3rd year, cut him, save 15 mil, but the, you know, coaches make the decision they made. No, this isn't like that. It is, you know, there will be dead cap with cutting.
Well,
It was a
I just want to
different.
make this clear, a quick
Mhm.
nugget on that. The only reason that they can't cut Laken clean is because of Joe Douglas last year restructuring his contract. And then the same thing for Carl. So, like, he could have. Carl, again, it would have, if they straight cut him, was 15 million savings, no hurt on the cap. They changed it last year and brought him back. Laken, same thing, but it was last offseason. They restructured his deal. Now there's debt. There wouldn't have been this massive amount of debt if they didn't do what they did. So it was constructed in the proper way, perhaps when they originally signed it. Then he got froggy and said, ooh, if I just move a little stuff into the future, we're winning the Super Bowl this year. People won't give a flying hoot if we do all this or making deep playoff runs or whatever. And obviously that didn't happen. Now it looks bad. So just to clarify that.
No, that's actually a really good point. Which is another reason why I don't want to, if they try to restructure again and just kick that can down the road, I definitely wouldn't want to do that. So I'll just cut this time.
Okay.
Robert Hunt, that's who I have going in at right guard because as we know, Elijah is at my left tackle. And then I was going to draft a guard.
Okay.
For a competition. I like Wes Schweitzer.
So he's a possible option.
Yeah. I'm keeping him. I'm keeping him on the team. And he can battle. He can battle with the rookie. I did have my eye on one rookie, particular. His name is Zach Winter. He just won a national championship with the Michigan Wolverines. He is considered one of the best guard options. He should be available in those later rounds, like a third.
Okay. That's what I was going to ask because I don't know yet. I'm going to be honest. We're doing obviously the Mock Draft Monday episodes. We had Tom C on this morning. I had Russell Brown on my radio show earlier. So I'm still learning more draft as we're going through this process. So I'm going to be honest. I know that name because for obvious reasons, we need to know as many offensive linemen as possible as Jet fans, but also draft value. That thing I don't really have a firm grasp on for players. So that was going to be my question. So, okay, interesting.
Yeah. So, I was, up at 3, looking at different things, plugging things, taking things out. It was like I was playing Legos just with people. So yeah, that's what I'm going with.
Okay.
Again, I started this show with Laken, thinking that, $4 million, all right, but $8 million, nah. Zach Winters come out here, win this job with Wes. And that kind of opens up another spot for what we'll talk about on Tuesday as well.
Okay, so let me make sure I just get your 3 before I give my picture. Your 3 for the guards, and we're doing it the same way we did tackles on Tuesday for those who missed it.
Yes.
That we're going to announce our starter at left guard, right guard, and then your top interior offensive lineman backup. Again, I'm not counting center. We're actually doing a separate episode on that, so I'm not talking about that. But your top guard backup. So if I have it correct in no particular order, you're going to have Robert Hunt, draft pick, and Wes Schweitzer. That's your 3?
Yep.
Okay. So my guards, as I already said, will be Laken and AVT. But my top backup, actually, I am going to dip my toe into the veteran market, and I'm going to go after a guy that was not on that list before. His name is Trey Turner. He's 30 years of age, just like me, baby. He's at the right prime age. Now, here was his contract that he signed last offseason, $1.3 million, baby. $1.3 million. So we're talking about relative chump change. And I believe it will be again, because unfortunately, the gods were not looking upon Trey Turner with favor last season. He joined the New Orleans Saints on July 25th. 3 days later, he tore his quad. He was out for the season. So terrible luck from that standpoint for Trey Turner. But again, consider that he was a late ad in late July. That's training camp time. And he was had for $1.3 million. Now he's coming off an injury year. I think he's going to be right around that cheap level, if not a little less. And he's been a bit of a mercenary over the last couple of seasons. He's played for different teams. Actually, that is, technically, I mean, this is more of mercenary than ever. He's going to be playing, I imagine, for 6 different teams. So Panthers in 2019. Chargers in 2020, Steelers in 2021, Commanders in 2022, Saints in 2023, and then Jets. Maybe it won't count for some of you that he played 3 days on the Saints, but still counts. Throw him in there as the 6. And he was no alternate that you have to worry about prior to that run, or that was the tail end of the run. He had 5 straight Pro Bowls from 2015 to 2019. He's a super talented guy. I love what I've seen. He's got a ton of experience. And before this run of being on all kinds of different teams, outside of this injury that just happened last year, here are his game appearances because again, there was 5 straight Pro Bowls in there. 16, 16, 13, 13, 13. 9 was a down year with the Chargers. 17, he played in all those for Pittsburgh. And then he played in 16 for Washington. And then obviously he missed all of last season. He's a dirt cheap guy. He's a guy that started a ton of games in his career, so I'd feel comfortable with him having to step in into the plate and coming up in. He's going to be dirt cheap and experienced because, again, I like Wes Schweitzer too. That's another reserve option the Jets have, but I look at Trey Turner a little bit more favorably with his success level, which has been higher than Wes Schweitzer's in their career. So, again, mine are going to be Laken, AVT, and then Trey Turner as a top guard backup. That is my group. And then we'll probably do a separate poll in between because today's Thursday. Our next episode is until Tuesday, so maybe over the weekend we'll give our starting 5 and let the fans vote on the pure 5, our 5 that are lined up in terms of offensive line. Or actually, I guess that'd have to be after our center episode, so we'll do that in the middle of next week. But that's my 3, Rudy, to wrap up the show. Boom.
Yeah, definitely do the 5 next week after the center discussion. Even though I would imagine I would actually be floored if we had 2 different centers. But Trey Turner, that's really good. You got me thinking, maybe he should be my 3rd, because there will be money after cutting Laken. There's extra money to sign Trey to that type of deal, especially since in my tackle situation, my tackle solution costs way less money than yours. So there would be extra money for a Trey Turner type deal. So that's a good find. That's a good find.
Well, thank you very much. Well, I was looking through, and I'm going to be honest. There was names that popped up to me that I like. Trey Turner. When we do this poll again, I will live and die by the poll. Again, I've been dominating these polls, so it's probably a good instinct. But to be honest, as I look through some of the names, like Ezra Cleveland, he's a super talented name the Jets could have had for a late round pick. He's projected to make 11, 12, 13 million per year on a new deal, and he's young. He ain't coming to the Jets as a backup or a guy that's competing. So, you have to really think hard that you can't pick any of the Robert Hunts of the world. Andres Pete is another one that shows up on here. He has guard and tackle flexibility. But whoever, you can't pick any of those. Kevin Zeitler. My options are like Dan Feeney, who made it on the screen. Shout out to Dan Feeney in there. But the Dan Feeneys of the world, I'm like, is there anyone else that we could get creative with? I'm like, Turner is the right kind of moxie and guy I'm looking for value, experience, and kind of checks off all the boxes. And, the missing thing is adding Super Bowl rings to the closet on top of all the individual success that he's had. So he's a name that after digging through and sifting through the list over and over and over again, that's a name where I'm like, there's my guy. So we'll see what the people say. But I don't think he's going to have the same name value. And it's something we've done with these polls before. Trey Turner, people are like, who? Who the hell? But I'm going to live and die by that sort. I think if people look into it and do some research, as obviously all the people that vote on Twitter do, this is a no-brainer.
This is I won't lie. You're about to win. It's about to be 85%. I mean, because Jets fans, they see Laken AVT. Oh, great. That. What do you
There's
mean?
A lot of people that hate Laken. It's a split. I think a lot of Jet fans want to cut Laken. Jake Asman, I was on his show and he said, we got to get rid of Laken. I'm like, let's keep him. He's like, nah, we got to cut him. So there's a lot of people that are not for it. Maybe I will get some of those people that were like AVT guard. Ooh, I like that guy just for that reason. So maybe I'll get some of that, but they'll be like, Laken, no. So we'll see. The poll results should be interesting, but we will release shortly after this show, whether you're watching live or after the fact. You go to Twitter and it's available for 24 hours to vote. And we will give our 3s. And I'll explain it in the poll like we did with our tackles: left guard, right guard, top guard, backup. And you guys let us know, which do you prefer that the Jets actually roll out with? And then again on Tuesday, we'll do centers. I think there's actually some interesting conversation to be had about that. Then Thursday, maybe the quickest episode in this show's history: special teams. What should the Jets do? Not sure. We'll figure that out. That's coming up on Thursday. Woody, great stuff, brother.
Yeah, great time as always. Boy Green meeting Woody today. Today we met some fantastic options, some fantastic pitches for these players. And let me say again, I will sound like a broken record or like a parrot. All right. I will be sounding like that, repeating myself over and over. the offensive line. This is the crucial. They have to hit. They have to hit this group. What they do, March, April, I guess May, all right? What they do will dramatically impact how I feel about this season. It should dramatically impact how everyone feels about this season and how high the ceiling is for the New York Jets. They have to hit. You don't have to do Boyd Greens or Wudis. You can do a combination. They cannot do what they have been doing, even though I guess Boyd Green in this specific instance is doing what they've been doing because Laken and AVT have been the starting guards the last couple of years. But still, all in all right, we're going to be talking about top fives, left, center, right. We're going to be talking about fives. And for that requires change, okay? So keep watching, see what we have to say, and just pray that Joe Douglas listens to somebody and makes some moves this offseason.
That's it. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow morning for Boyd Green Daily, and stay tuned to Twitter for the poll. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Take care.